Okay, with this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about the directory function that's on your phone. What this will allow you to do is to search any phone number that's in our system without actually having that printed out sheet that has everybody's name and extension on that. You can get that right from your phone. If you touch the directory button right down here, when I push that, it's going to bring up a list of all the phone numbers that are in our system. And in order to look at them here, you can sort them a couple of different ways. Right now, they're sorted by, it looks like first name throughout our entire system. If I hit the middle button here, it'll sort everything by last name. And that may help you get closer to the person that you want to select or call. To move up and down in that list, you can just use the arrow key to go down or the arrow key to go up, and you can find your name. And once you find the person you want to call, you can either hit the dial button for it to dial it over the speakerphone, or you can actually pick up the headset and the sound will come through there. Now, if your person that you're looking for is kind of in the middle of the list, not at the beginning or at the end, there is a search function within the directory that you can use that uses all these keys with the letters on them, and you can narrow down your search to be as specific as one person, or at least get a group, and then you can select the person that you're looking to call. In order to do that, let's say that we are searching for my name, Troy Pritchett. I could either search for my first name or I could search for my last name. If I was going to start by searching for my first name, I would start by typing the 8 button, which is the T, and then maybe the 7 with the R, and that gets it down to 2 names, and I can select Troy, and then I can pick up the headset, or I can hit the dial button and it'll dial my number. The other thing to keep in mind is over here on the very left, there's a check mark, and that check mark will mean that person is available. If they happen to be on the phone, it'll be a little picture of the headset next to there to tell you that they're not available at that time. If I wanted to search by my last name, I could backspace those numbers out, and I would start with the P and the R, which would be 77I, and that would again take me to my last name. And same thing, I could either hit the dial button or I could pick up the headset, and then that would dial my extension. And again, looking to see that there's a check mark there to know that they're available and not a headset that says they're on the phone. And this is how you would be able to use the directory function on your phone to search for extensions if you didn't have a printed out sheet of all of them. For this video, we want to talk a little bit about voicemail on your phone, recognizing when you have a voicemail, how to manage your voicemails that are saved on your phone, and how to get into it, even if you've forgotten your password. To recognize a time when you have a voicemail message, something that you haven't heard yet, you should get the blinking red light like the phone has right now, and then there should be an icon up here that looks like a little reel that's recorded, and then it has a number of messages that you haven't heard yet. To go ahead and access those messages, you hit your voicemail button right here, and it's going to ask you for a password. If you're new to the district, or even if you've forgotten your password, see me, and I'll give you a temporary 4-digit code that you can put in. And once you put that code in, you can say OK here. And once you press OK, if you have a temporary code, it's going to ask you to set a permanent 4-digit code, one that you can remember, and you can do that, and then you can use that code to check your voicemail from that point on. So once we've got that all intact, we've put our voicemail password in and we hit OK. Now we're getting to the screen that lists our unheard messages or even any of our saved messages. Your unheard messages will normally be bolded. If I had more than one here, if I hadn't heard one of these two below, the Ann Creamer one, those would be bolded to let you know you hadn't heard those messages yet. Right now you can see that there's just some saved messages that you've already listened to, with the top one being the one we haven't listened to. To get to a message I want to listen to, I can use my arrow key to select up and down to go to the message I want to see. And you can see right there, the top one is the one we haven't heard, and it is bold. We can go up to there, and we can press the play button to hear it over the speakerphone, or we can pick up the headset if you're in a room where you don't want everybody to hear your your message there. To manage the messages you already have on your phone, and there is a time where your mailbox does fill up. If you need to get rid of any of these messages, you can just scroll down to one of them and you can hit the delete key. Once I hit the delete key, it just takes it out of there, and it's no longer in your voicemail mailbox. And then you can kind of manage how many messages you have there. Okay? So that's pretty much checking voicemail on your machine And then a reminder that if you don't know your voicemail password, to see Mr. Pritchett, and I will get that to you. Okay, the final thing I want to show you about our phones is some of the common things that you might use on your phone. Would be how to use the history function for those calls that you weren't able to answer. Maybe you weren't in the room or you couldn't get to it, and the person didn't leave a voicemail, and you want to see who actually called you, what time that call happened, and then you can determine if you need to call them back. When you get a missed call, one that you aren't able to pick up, you'll get this icon up here with the phone with a little arrow on top of it, and that means that you've missed a call, and then it'll give you the number of calls that you've missed. To see who it was that called you, you can hit the history button, and then it's going to be the top calls that are listed up here would be the person that called you that you didn't have an opportunity to answer, and then it gives you the time in which they called, and then you can decide, do I want to call them back, or can I get a hold of them later? And you can call them or dial that number right from this screen. If the name's highlighted, you can pick the headset up to talk through the headset, or you can just hit dial and it'll go through speakerphone. And it's going to list several calls from your history, which also helps if you've called the phone number and you can't remember the phone number. You can always scroll down to it and hit dial or pick the headset up and you can dial that number again. And then it'll get added to the top of your history. Whoops. To get out of that history, I hit the button too many times. All you have to do is hit exit. It'll take you back to your main screen. But that's using the history button to check your missed calls and see who called you.